D&D.
That's right, we're doing D&D. Hello, welcome back to rollxplay, where we roll dice and play games. You've joined us for our Tuesday campaign, Threads of Chaos. We are here post-chaos, which is a wonder in this campaign. Never typically happens, but here we are in downtime. This is going to be our downtime session. We're going to be looking at what the party is doing as pretty much individuals during this sort of month of grace that they have. There's going to be some training involved. They're going to be learning some new things, and we're just going to dive pretty much straight into it. So as a little bit of a recap, the party have just vanquished a demon, one of their many enemies that they have been kind of put towards to deal with in the grand scheme of the world. They have dealt with 4 demons currently, I believe, with many more to go. But this is what the training's for, and the downtime to prepare to find the next one. So they have some time to themselves. And who is going first? Okay. Leonie, which element of your downtime would you like to focus on to start with?
Well, Cal would have, after learning that the next demon is a ways away and there's still information to be gathered, he would have talked to everybody and explained that he's going to join the Flores siblings in traveling back to where their temple used to be, where their civilization used to be, and look at what once was, etc., etc. Learn more about his patron.
Awesome, awesome. So, with the two of them leading the charge through these strange woods, different environments that you're coming across, you go back through the Tipsy-Turvy Valley and then into this almost floral graveyard, it seems, where everything is slightly more blighted and has lost a lot of its color, but the roots underneath have like an underglow. So even though everything on the surface looks quite dead, it all glows underneath with these sort of neon patterns. So every step you take, it's kind of just giving that umbra of light as you tread through. This also means, as you're seeing large creatures swoop through the sky and fly across these lands, the air that they kind of breathe on top of this place, it seems to leave that sort of trail as well, and then it sort of sparkles like fairy lights as it almost ascends into the air and then catches and passes on. But they kind of tread through here with you. It takes a couple of days. Is there anything you would like to bring up as you are walking with them? You haven't arrived at the final destination just yet. It was a few days of travel. What else? Would you like to discuss anything?
I'd imagine he's asking questions about just every plant they come across. Like any plant that's behaving weird, he's just like, why does it do that?
I don't know.
Wait, what's that name? What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. Why would I know these
Why
things?
don't you know? Because this is your home plane, I imagine, and you've been here quite a while, and you've walked past these plants often?
No. We have lived underground most of our life.
Okay.
So I don't know what this is.
Do you think it's going to eat me if I pluck it?
He just ignores you and continues walking.
He's going to carefully take a sample.
Okay.
Maybe, if he can, a sprout so that he can maybe grow it. But
okay.
We'll see.
You pick up the sort of plants, you pull it from the stem, and as you do, the roots begin to almost dance as you pull it free. They seem to move by themselves, almost like the trails of jellyfish as they're just undulating into the air. And they try and like wrap around your hand and arm. And as it does, the tighter it squeezes, it doesn't squeeze ever like tight. It's kind of like a loose grip around your arm, and it creates this sort of that same glow. So it creates a natural light for you to use as you're kind of navigating through. But it just holds onto you at the moment and latches there.
Look, this is so cool. Look, it's okay. You're so cool.
Alejandro will just look at you and just snarl and move on. Meanwhile, Maria will just kind of nod along and kind of just smile. They say something between themselves. What language do you speak?
I don't think he speaks to... Oh, never mind. He speaks Dwarvish, Elvish, Primordial, Draconic, and these... Well, that's not language. So yeah, Dwarvish, Elvish, Primordial, and Draconic.
Okay. In Draconic, she just says, he really likes the simple things. As she just continues walking along.
Cal's just not noticing that there's Swift language. Yeah, I do. Simple things can be really great.
You speak Draconic?
Yeah. Ever, like, our patron taught me? it was like I don't think they really like conversing in common, so they taught me Draconic.
I still don't believe you with the patron having spoken with you directly.
Well, like I said, I'm gonna bring you guys up next time I talk to them, which by the way I can do once we rest for the night maybe. And I can try and see if they will reach out to you guys. I don't see why not.
Very well.
Oh, I've not tried to bring anyone with me when I talk to them. Maybe I can just meditate. If we meditate together or something, maybe I can drag you with me.
I would like to join you on this if that's possible.
We can certainly try. I have no idea how to do that, but we can try.
She smiles and nods along, taps on Alejandra's shoulder, and he just kind of nods as he acknowledges and has been hearing the entire conversation, but has little to say. We will nearly be at the resting point. We have another day's travel after that. You can commune with the dead if you wish to then. And he just continues to move forward.
I don't think I'm communing with the dead, but okay. I mean, he has been called like the vampire of the gods, but that's more like a symbolic thing, right?
They continue moving.
Oh, but if he's a Kaftai immortal, he can't be dead. Wait, explain! Don't just say stuff like that and then walk away. He's just following them, babbling on, asking questions.
Why do you think that the Corthane Immortal cannot die?
It's sort of in the name, isn't it?
But Corthaek is them, no? They can stop existing as long as Corthaek's still alive.
Yeah. But if they just don't... Well, there's being dead, which sort of implies not being able to come back. And then there is not existing for the moment, or like being in a deep slumber or something like that. Like, that's all states you can bounce back from. Death sounds very permanent. Unless it's sort of a... He has to be reborn sort of thing. I guess that's possible, since he's sort of like rebirth sort of stuff.
The Rose Dragon has never lived. There's never been signs of it having been alive.
But then how do we... How?
It is the feeling in the spirits, the nature itself. The binding of the land. Their Vaishira can be seen everywhere. It is rich, nutritious, and it has given us a binding for one another.
Okay, so they don't exist in the way we conceive living.
Now you're learning.
Okay, cool. That's honestly pretty badass. Like, you can't kill something that never lived, so that's pretty fucking awesome.
That is another version of an immortal, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Alejandra reaches the final destination and brings you there. A night camp amongst this sort of field of dead flowers with that bioluminescence just underglow here and there. Small little creatures and critters just hop along and jump into these sort of dead bushes and whatnot. So it creates sort of like a little bit of a buzz in the distance. Arnie? What were you going to say?
Yeah, repeat that. Repeat that for the class.
Flea flu.
Flea flu. Oh, shit. But you find a spot, and you see that Maria is quite intrigued into entering in this commune with you, if you can attempt it. So, what do we do? What is the communion here?
Okay, so typically I like to do this in places that are higher up just because I think they're better, but we might as well try this here. So he's going to summon Janet and just chill next to her and just sort of be like, do you want to hold hands for this? I have no idea how this works. So maybe being in physical contact enhances the possibility of this working. I have no fucking clue. That is my best guess.
She reaches out her paws to you.
Okay. And now just focus on where your abilities come from, like where, like the stem of where they grow in you, and focus on that and where that comes from. and just sort of let it happen. Just relax into it, let it happen, and Cal's gonna close his eyes, relax into his pool of power, and into the connection with his patron.
Can you roll a religion check first to see if you can help explain this method to someone?
I do not think I can. Oh, okay, 15.
Okay. She's probably used to nonsense, so she just accepts it. And is just kind of, okay, nodding along, fine. You see she will kind of like hold on to the sort of breastplate, this draconic armor she has, as that seems to be her sort of in with this sort of amorphous power that they've tapped into. She holds on to it, and you proceed with this step forward. As you kind of enter this body and mind, I'd like you to roll a wisdom check, please.
Okay. Oh, that 20,
God.
24.
Why does this always fucking happen? Okay. She's kind of just dismissive of it for the most part, and then as soon as your hands touch and you close your eyes, you feel the sort of essence, the energy connect with some other being from afar. And as you begin to descend through this maelstrom of flowers, these petals that are just hidden against you, you've been in this sort of situation before where there is this torrent or tornado of just these almost like glass-like red ruby scales or petals that are just flying around. If you were to touch them, you'd probably slice your fingers off, or but it being in the center of this storm, you don't feel any of that. You just see the sort of beauty of it spiraling around. She is there with you, and she kind of like looks around. What is this place? And she's just kind of...
Oh, I have no fucking clue.
So she sees the sort of pattern of the flowers that are going around these petals, and she reaches out to them, and you see it kind of like nicks her finger, and the blood drips, but then the blood begins to trail out into the air and almost follow that same sort of pattern as it's beginning to like suck away the Viscera in her body. And then she just holds it back. And then at one point she reaches out her hand further, and more cuts as more blood just begins to circulate, as there is now a swirling mist of red that is just orbiting the two of you. It is beautiful.
Yeah, pretty awesome, isn't it?
Wow. I never thought that this day would ever happen. That we'll ever see the effects of our patron in full form. We were given our protectors, our companions, and that was the only form that we ever saw them in. Their children, but this is real, this is tactile. We are elsewhere, but where is this? As she continues to look around, confused. This is my home. And you see the sort of outer edgings of the dragon kind of peering through the breath, pushing the petals into the air to scatter into opposite directions. Now the wind flow, instead of going around you, is just spreading past you like a forward V, as it now presents its head forward. You see she just looks, eyes wide open, and drops down to her knees, and she just kind of puts her hands on the floor, leaning her head in this almost prayer to the rose dragon. Ka.
Hi.
Who is this
You're not
person?
gonna believe this. Oh, yes, right. This is Maria. She is one of your followers. One of the last, if what I'm told is correct. And she has been holding your name in the Feywild, and like Tintavra had been murdering all of them, but she and her brother, they're like the last survivors, which is pretty awesome, and they helped us kill the last demon, which was fucking awesome.
Just continues to nod along, kind of hands kind of place itself in front. It just leans its head against it as it's just continuing to listen. She's still in prayer, still bowing down, not kind of wanting to look up, as she seems sheepish. But he just continues to look at you. I did not realize that I had followers still left. I felt all of them perish with my offspring. But I see she lives.
Mm-hmm.
The claw extends upwards and kind of lifts up her head as it goes underneath her neck and raises her upwards. Maria, is it? Yes, my patron. Maria Flores. I have come here with my brother. We are the last standing petals, your knights. Our home was taken from us, and we try to continue your name in its stead. Even without it, its walls, its home is broken, but we continue in your name. Kind of looks towards you, Cal. Is this true? Okay. Well, thank you for your service. But I see you're wearing my child. As she looks up with this sort of curious look. Yes, that's right. They have been a faithful companion to me for a long time, and when their time came, we made sure to carry on their legacy. Fitting. Not something I asked you to do, though. But I guess my hold on you is not strong. Who told you this was the right method? It was tradition that all of us had partaken, all of us knights, every single one of us. So that is why I do not feel my children anymore. But they live on in the afterlife with you. No, they don't. They are no longer.
Oh.
I did not realize. I'm sorry, and she bows back down again. I was under the impression through our elders that this was the way forward, that this was your wishes. No. I have never spoken to anyone except for Cal. She just looks confused. Cal, how are you?
Well, it's a mixed bag at the moment. Like, usually my answer is pretty fucking awesome, but the mood is very odd right now because we saw a lot of very fucked up shit. Yeah, the last demon was into some interesting stuff. And, like, they had an emotional connection with Oberon, so killing them was a bit but the fight was still so awesome. It was still so cool.
You see they smile wide. Was there much blood that was shed?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I miss those days.
And Janet got to fight against this guy who turns into a giant wolf. And he tried to bite her and then obviously paid the price of that, so that was very cool. But mostly she just did a very good job in protecting me, honestly. So, and I got to do the killing blow to, like, the main demon and two other shadow demon dudes who were trying to kill these two, her and her brother. And yeah, it was so fun.
And he just continues to nod along. She's kind of looking over like, what is this interaction? What is going on? I'm very pleased for you, and I'm glad to hear that Janet is in capable hands. I always knew she would be. Now, please don't kill Janet. She doesn't deserve that.
No, I would never. When they told me that they had done that, well, they didn't kill they just used their scales after they were dead. At least that's what they said. I really hope that's true, because otherwise, what the fuck? But no, I would never do that. I love Jenna way too much for that. Jenna's my friend. Why the fuck would I kill her?
Just nods
No.
along and smiles. Then good. And this is why I speak to you and no one else. And just stares towards Maria.
Well, to be fair, she didn't really know any better. Like if my parents had already been your followers and they told me that this was the way to do it, I'm not sure I would have questioned it without outside interference. So there was no way for her to really know what she was doing was wrong.
Just looks just with a deadpan stare at her.
Yeah, it's still pretty fucked up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming, Cal.
Oh, do you want us to leave? Okay. Right. I'll check in the next time anything exciting happens.
Just pulls back into the sort of shroud of darkness as she's just left there looking. That is not what I was expecting. And you just return back, and it's now morning. Brother, we had everything wrong. And he just looks over.
Oh no.
What? We're gonna
Everything.
we're gonna end it there, and then go over to the next person who wants to go in this backstory, in this downtime rather. Who's next? Who would like to go next?
I could go.
Okay.
For one of bits. Alicia, if we are still in Harpley,
Yep.
if
Yeah.
the mention is, Alicia would be making antitoxins or more holy water just to help with the effort with the people
Mm-hmm.
and to prepare for the next demon fight, like more holy water, just brewing concoctions essentially.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
With Claudius's help.
As you're going through this sort of process, the first half will jump quickly towards Nebula. As she's helping you prepare all of these bottles of holy water in this sort of liminal space that she creates, where you can still see the stars of the demons that you've captured under her command, kind of glowing in the distance. And there is just a pool of just this ethereal sort of starry scape that she just begins to bottle up and give you bottles to then take with you as you're plucking from it. Every so often, as you're kind of like picking it along, you feel this sort of glow that's there when you hold it close to you, and she'll just kind of look at it. I had mentioned that I left a little bit something in there. Do you know what it was? Have you tried it yet?
No, not exactly. We kind of ended up using all of it to blow up a giant tongue.
A normal endeavor, I'm sure. Try some. And she just kind of like gestures for you to drink one of the holy
Okay.
water.
Takes a respectful sip, just in case it's alcohol.
As you drink it, it has this very sort of... It feels like the purest water you can ever drink. It's any sort of impurities have been washed away. But then there is this sort of aftertaste that you can't quite understand what it is. To describe it would be like popping candy, but it has no flavor to it. It just kind of like bubbles along in certain areas of your tract as you're kind of swallowing it down. And you feel it expand inside of you and give this sort of warmth to your interior. Even if it were to be a hot day, that same warmth would still almost calm you down in a way. You have gained the ability to where if you drink one of these holy waters, whenever it is, once per day, you will regain a 3rd level spell slot or lower. So if you drink one of them, you will regain a 3rd or lower spell slot, whichever is empty.
Damn, okay. So would it be like I get to choose, or more it starts off from...
It's
Lowest
three
level
down,
to-
so you can choose anything within 1, 2, 3. Typically, you'd
Okay,
always get 3rd level if it's available. Then you drop down to the 2nd or the 1st, because you can always upcast spells. So
Gotcha. Oh, thank you. That feels oddly comforting.
Yes, the bubbling has a bit of a aftertaste. It opens up the pores and it releases some of the pent-up energy that you had in before and just allows you to express yourself better. It's a nice tonic.
Thank you. Maybe I get to make it one day. I mean, I have the spell for it, but probably not as potent.
Perhaps one day when you are a god like me. And she just kind of like flushes her hair.
Nah, I don't think I'm suited for that. I should probably get these back downstairs, I guess.
Sure.
Is that whole situation still okay? Points to the demons being captured.
Well, I can still hear them talk. They sometimes whisper things as well. They probably don't realize that I'm hearing them, but it's certainly enlightening.
Anything interesting or mostly brooding?
The way that I would describe it in some way is very much like all of you, quite terrestrial. They ebb and flow with emotion. They don't seem to have one steady line. They're very human, well, I guess would be the phrase. But they are still evil. At least that's what they've been dressed up to be.
Well, you know, enslaving Warforged to do your bidding thing,
Yes.
killing people. Yeah. I think most would consider that evil.
Yes, it's quite fucked up. Yeah.
So nothing important, nothing of note.
Not really, just wallowing in their own self-doubt or their own defeat. The reasons why they've been defeated.
Mention anything about other demons?
Sometimes they call towards Asmodeus, but that person is not going to hear them here. That's for sure.
Great. Cool. That's so awesome. Well, as long as he doesn't hear them, I guess.
Well, no one can hear us in here. So if there's something you want to get off your chest, best place for it.
Nope, all good. All right, I'm gonna get these downstairs.
That
Thank
was
you.
very fast. Okay. She just kind of
Heads off.
ignores it as you run off. You head down to try and find Claudius.
Yeah, see if he has found some sort of antitoxin or something to help these people. As he's probably more proficient in the alchemy stuff.
You see him returning back after gathering some samples and analyzing some of the people who have been sort of left in ruins for the most part to heal after the events of what Tintava had done to them. As he heads through the doorway, he sees you. Al. Shall we do some investigating?
Investigating?
Well,
in the lab, right?
Yes.
Oh. Then sure, just one moment. Puts on head mask just in case, puts on gloves.
Very wise, and he does the same. After having just taken them off as he kind of walked in. Good.
Just
I
in
see you are
case.
very ready and capable every time. You always have your protection ready.
You know, better safe than sorry, as always.
Of course. All right, let's have a look then. And the two of you go kind of analyzing, just seeing the sort of lingering effects that had happened. And he would just start kind of explain what he's seen, explaining how Tintaba had control over these people, seemingly leaving these aspects of it. The things that you sort of picked up on originally. But he also goes into the fact that it kind of cut off everything. Cut off the way to feel, the sort of memories. They kind of went into a stasis of sleep in that moment. There were people that I had spoken to, and they didn't even know what had happened. They were in this sort of coma, this limbo. It seems that she had done a number on their mind, which will need a lot of time and therapy to get over. But the processes are starting, and the effects of what she had done are slowly waning. But the body always needs time to help, but this is what medicine is for. It is to help the process and make it slightly quicker. And he'll just kind of go back and forth with you with that.
He'll bounce off ideas on what they could do to help them out, whether that's some sort of helping them with sleep or regaining their strength back, because a lot of them were like fully malnourished, etc., etc. So
as this sort of main topic is coming up, and you spend like a couple of days with him, like focused on this task in particular, you come up with an antitoxin to help the body recover after all of these effects. And after he kind of like sets that aside and you have a process of mass producing at this point, he'll just kind of turn to you. There was another topic you wanted to discuss quite a while ago, this analysis of decay that you had sent me.
Yes. It was surrounding a certain individual, if you remember mentioning him.
No, I do. I remember all of it. It was all quite harrowing, and in terms of the description and what was possible. A man could turn someone to dust in the matter of seconds. Quite remarkable, fearful, dangerous.
I do again apologize for that.
No. It's more curious than anything else. But I did find something that might be prevalent to all of this. It was something that struck a chord with me as I was thinking on what could cause this. I was able to harness one of the little specimens that you had given me, and I had done some tests on it. Please, and he'll kind of like go over. He has this sort of pop-up lab in his suitcase that he just unfurls, and then everything opens up, and different stages and levels to it. And you can see in the center, encased in this sort of glass framework, a held point in air where it looks like it's just kind of hovering, almost like magnetized and not touching anything, as he's just got it there. Just this like pinprick of a particle. Well, I was able to find a sort of middle ground for it. It has a resonance to it, a sort of energy that is there. It is not just particulate, it is something else as well. It has a body, a sort of framework to it. You would think that if it is all hungry and all consuming, that it would have almost nothing there, like a black hole, for example. It just absorbs everything and it all disperses elsewhere. But this seems to have some, at least, structure to it. And as he begins to sort of layer out other lenses in front to kind of magnify what it looks like, you can now see the sort of outer edges of this particulate. And it has this very sort of dust ball look to it, where it's just this sort of black void that is bouncing up and down and has like fluff around the sides. But it's kind of like undulating in areas. It's just kind of moving back and forth, like it's swimming in a way. I was testing different materials with it, and nothing seems to go at the same rate. There's a slight different sort of time to everything. It is minute, it's very, very fine, but it is there is some time. It takes time to digest whatever this is that is being placed within. He kind of grabs a feather that he has on the side and he throws it in, and you watch as it just touches and then just instantly turns to dust and disappears. Huh. Grabs a piece of wood. Now, watch this. And he throws it closer, and you see it again. It goes quickly, but slower, ever so slightly. He grabs a sort of bit of iron that he's got laying around, and he throws that in. And it takes a little bit longer. The different materials, what they are composed of, they take longer times or shorter times. It is almost like there is an effort there that is trying to process it. Now, this is just one particulate. If there were more, if there was something commanding it or controlling it, perhaps they could do things on a larger scale in an instant. But for this one thing, it struggles in the thicker compounds, the almost longevity of some items. It takes time. It's consuming, but there are some things that it just struggles with.
Is it the density? Do the particles just disappear, or do they all disintegrate?
Well, as we can see here, there is ash that is falling from it, but the sort of what is left here is almost brittle and dried up. Like, it doesn't feel or look as though it should be that item or compounded of that sort of material. It's as though everything has been taken from it, dried up, and then left as a hollow sack.
Almost like it's digesting whatever's.
I am just curious to see if there is something that it cannot digest. If there is something that is perhaps everlasting, can it destroy something that cannot be destroyed? That is my question.
Have you tried spells?
I could try. I don't have the ability myself to cast large spells, just analytical ones, but I could try if you want.
Could try. Don't want to accidentally explode something, but sometimes that's part of the process.
Exactly, that we have to try, no?
I guess so. Let me see if I have any freaking conjuration spells really quick or something like that. Because I don't know if we can eat up illusions or whatever. Let's see.
Could I hope I can't eat illusions. What the fuck?
Well, I don't know if like an illusion counts still like as in magic being in that space sort of thing. Can I just like create a tiny spiritual weapon very close
Sure.
to it?
Mm-hmm. Do you go up and touch it, or are you just hovering around?
I'll place it kind of close to the particle first, and then if nothing happens, you'll progressively move it closer to it.
Okay. You place it close, doesn't do anything. As you touch it, you see the same thing happen. Disappears and turns to ash.
In the same rate?
Seems to be slower. But again, it's like
Than the
a
metal?
flash of the eye, yeah.
Okay. Well, we can keep throwing stuff at it.
We could try, sure. We might run out of things to throw. Perhaps your friend Dolrin might have something. Something we could test, something spare. He's a crafter. He might have some material that is
I feel like if we ask him to throw an item into this, he'll consider it sacrilegious.
Perhaps not his item, but perhaps some material instead.
We could ask.
It'll be good to know.
I'll see if he has some dense materials or Or something tougher. Like an obsidian of some kind, or...
Okay, good. Well, at least this is some what of a progress. I have my theories, but I don't want to jinx anything just yet, in case guess we are onto something.
Has a slightly concerned look on his face as he's thinking of the all-eaten, consuming entity out in space somewhere, but doesn't say anything. Just like, thumbs up! And he's gonna ask Olrun at some point for some more materials, but focus on helping the people in Harpley first, and then along the way somewhere find Olrun and ask him.
Okay.
Yeah, Olrun is in on the experimentation.
Okay.
So I'm going to test some things. Specifically, I want to test nitro silver.
Okay.
Because it says it's a conduit for channeling energies from one area to another. So I'm curious if this stuff can be channeled.
Sure.
Both Alicio and Claudius behind the shield 30 meters away as he's doing this.
I don't think this will help us if something happens.
Yeah, but sorry.
So, how do you set up
Okay,
this
you
conduit
can do
then?
it.
What?
How do you set up the silver, the conduit? You're just throwing it in.
No. Peyton, basically he makes a thin wire of it and try to direct it. If it just gets obliterated on touch, then obviously it doesn't work.
Okay. And what do you tie it to? Is there anything in particular that you're trying to take it to or transfer the energy towards?
Basically just a rock or something. Nothing to... I mean, I don't have anything that can possibly hold it. Or at least I don't think so. But being able to move it would already be a great boon, because we could redirect it away from us if the right adjustments were to be made to armor.
Okay. Placing it towards this stone, laying this line out, you place the sort of end of this thread towards this void of black. As you do, you see it kind of like hovers in, and it doesn't seem to dissipate. Instead, almost like the opposite of a sort of fuse of dynamite, rather than starting from the point that you've just put it in, the decay starts at the very end where the rock is. It just turns to ash, and then the rest of it continues to follow suit as it burns towards the center. But you see the trail. It's slower this time. It's slower with this specific material, it seems, because it is a conduit. It's pulling the power towards it. The stone evaporated in an instant, but this conduit, it took a while because it can somewhat hold an energy. This is an energy, but it's still not enough to stop it from breaking and being destroyed as well.
Should we try magnets next?
Perhaps if I were to make something sturdier than a wire, it might serve its purpose, but it's closer to a sacrificial layer if I were to make it.
I see. Well, could be useful if we have to get in somewhere that seems impenetrable, but I don't know how smart it is to be messing with this thing.
Is it possible that you could perhaps enchant the wire in some way? Perhaps give it an extra layer of protection?
I could attempt, but the layer of protection will only make it last longer, I presume, since eventually it will also be consumed, no?
Potentially.
It did eat away at the magic, but maybe if the enchantment is somehow placed inside the conduit instead of on the outside, if it's continuously going around it with this enchantment reinforcing it. It might not eat away at the magic or not have the time to if it keeps flowing.
Insulate the enchantment. Perhaps. It would be complicated to make. Probably bulky, considering I can't write that small.
Well, can always experiment, see what happens, trial and error. I did manage to use my own hand as a conduit for it once. Albeit with some consequences, but...
Perhaps we should ask Oberon. They seem to be more versed in alchemy, and perhaps a liquid medium for the enchantment could serve this purpose.
Could do. We do also have the other contraptions from Gil, I believe. Well, technically, Armandus does. So if we can see how he built his weapons to not be destroyed by the energy inside, maybe we could reverse engineer it.
True.
Yeah, let's just tinker with a nuke real quick.
Sure.
This is turning into Oppenheimer. Fucking
Wait,
hell.
has Oberon even told about the nukes? I think we only know that
I think
Amanda
he did.
knew.
Unsure.
Did we not see them?
Bro, confirm. We didn't see them get them because the two of them were specifically on their own when Amanda's got the weapons, and then they rejoined us. I don't know if we were told.
But you know about his ability. You know about Gilgamesh selling these sorts of weapons.
Yeah.
And it's been said that there's a hand with Armandus, like they were involved some way or somehow.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think we know about nukes. So.
Well, we can ask Morgana as well, technically, because she's kind of been at the
epicenter.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, having this sort of idea in mind, we'll jump from Elisio to Ulrin. Ulrin, you kind of help out here trying some materials. What else do you end up doing for this first half of your downtime?
Starting the downtime would be storytelling-wise a bit uneventful because he's mostly making things from the large pile of silver he got from the merchants.
Yeah.
In order to sell them. Then eventually, after making his wares, for once he's actually going to sell stuff. He would be going to the Moradin temple as advertised. Try to sell these weapons, but also talk to Takotel about the war going on, especially around Ishwahi.
Okay. As you end up sort of because the estate itself has been open to taking people elsewhere. You're not just stuck to Harperley for the time being. You can kind of traverse wherever you like, to places you've pretty much been to already that are confirmed there's no demons. So you kind of like bounce back and forth to different spots here and there as long as you're with the estate, and you drop off towards Transvalar. Transvalar seems to be in a similar state as always. It doesn't seem to have changed much since you were last here. That presence of the sort of Corellon, priests are still somewhat here, but for the most part now, as you're traversing through, it looks like a lot more of the Paylor priests are kind of taking in holding here. Seems that the others are probably busy elsewhere for the time being, but you find Tarkotel. He is sort of available currently. Ulrin, how are you doing? You okay?
It's been a difficult time lately.
Yes.
But I'm happy to be back in company.
Well, always good company having you around. Can I offer you a drink or something?
Gladly.
Good, okay, because I need one.
Perhaps I can offer you one in reciprocation. I do carry my family's beverage with me.
Oof. Now that's quite a treat. How about we go to the same spot that you and Ralkas used to go to? He'd always speak about it being quite highly. Should we go there and have a drink?
Well, they won't appreciate me bringing my own drink, but
I'm sure
gladly.
they will. I'm sure they will. The two of you head over to find that small sort of trinket haven that is this small little bar with no name. You sit down, you see the sort of the people serve it, just an old couple that have nothing else better to do with their lives but enjoy the nicer things. They serve you, they bring the glasses for your drink. They don't seem to mind. But he kind of sits there with you, enjoying it, cheersing. So it's been a trail for you, a trek?
We've succeeded on another part of our journey.
Oh, good. Good.
But at great cost.
Well, I see you still carry the tome with you. Its influence hasn't affected things, has it?
I do not think so, no. Though we happened upon Queen Hollow.
He looks quite shocked. Okay. That's quite surprising. She doesn't reciprocate too well.
Same as mine.
So you've felt her hospitality then?
Interestingly enough, yes. We distinguished us enough in the Feywild to be invited. They had to explain the tome was not a sign of allegiance. She has a low opinion of its own, of its owner.
Interesting. The Fey matters we don't tend to deal with too often. Some of the priests do end up going there from time to time, but it's an area where it's almost blacklisted. We try not to go because they tend to not want faith. They want to dwell in the chaos, which is, well, commendable during these times at least.
I've seen signs of workers there.
Really?
His handiwork in terms of architecture.
Now that is a surprise. Have you heard from him in a while?
No. He has been just as mysterious as he announced to be.
I've tried contacting all of the masters, all of the clan crafters, but I've not heard back from Ralkas at all. And I feel terrible about saying this, but I've also tried scrying on him, but he doesn't like that too often. Nor did I find him, for that matter. But it seemed as though I was blocked, so he probably doesn't want to be seen. But that just means that whatever he's doing, he deems it very important, at least. So I guess he's pushing towards Moradin's ideals still. Hard, though, in these times. He has another swig of the drink. How familiar are you with the current wars that are going on?
I've some knowledge, though I would appreciate more.
Well,
people have been cagey at best.
There's a bit of a lull at the moment, in fact, which is odd. It was going at a high speed at the very beginning, but I guess that was just perhaps a spark turning into an explosion too quickly, and now everything seems to have simmered down. It's odd. They protest against the gods, and now I'm biased for the most part, but I can understand where they're coming from. They don't want to have this forced upon them, and nor do we try to, but they see us as a sort of, no matter what we tell them that we're not going to be pushing our ideals, they seem to think that we will. Perhaps our presence just merely does not resonate with them, which that, unfortunately, leads to this sort of chaos. But the Queen of the Tritons, she has been quite vocal against most of the surface, so with most of our practitioners being from there, we had to step in. And that has left us with a bit of a up in arms, if you will. We've tried our best to de-escalate the situation, but Korthak has called it time to act. So, act we have. We've pushed into Dunavir. We have stopped the sort of encroach onto Ishvahi. And, well, we dare step forth onto it, except for the priests of Ashtar. We accept that it is a place of importance for them, being a Korthain immortal after all. So it is their jurisdiction as to what happens with it. Now, what happens there and the locals, that is between them, and that is not for us to get involved with. But, as of now, the war has simmered, and the oceans are still. It just means that, well, they could be regrouping, they could be planning, but we have a good hold on most things. Try not to escalate the situation further. It's tricky balancing it out, especially when certain parties wish to divulge in this bloodshed, which is something I don't want to see. That is not what we were intended to do.
I've met a person of importance, Gilgamesh, their name. They seem to be profiteering from this war in some capacity.
It's not a name I'm familiar with.
Good. That means he hasn't reached out to Temple of Moradin then. He has, though, reached out to Dunavir and Thrawn, from what I know. And thus I'm here in Warning. What do you make of Admiral Thrawn?
Well, now that is a name I've not heard for a while. Admiral Thrawn is quite a goading figure. They are very boisterous in how they present themselves. I've seen them once before, and in their presence alone, I could feel my connection to Moradin waning even faster than it normally does in places away from this temple. He has an influence over the sort of powers that be, strong in primal, which is all-consuming of divination. He himself, well, he's a bit of an enigma. He's jumped from one party to the next, to the next, to the next. Whatever influences him and whatever benefits him, he'll be there. Is he involved in what's happening in Ishvahi?
He's leading a group of, they call themselves a sort of freedom fighters. They claim to aid the previous locals, the Tritons, who still call the place their home. My brother, married to a Triton, is one of them.
Well, that is quite interesting. So your brother is one of these freedom fighters, then?
Yes. I don't doubt his conviction, nor do I. I have some doubts to his wife, I will not lie, though they've mostly been quelled. I do believe they simply intend to keep what is theirs, their home. Even risen above the sea is still their home. I would not pass up Ragmount if it were below the waters. But on Admiral Thrawn, I'm conflicted. I know little of the man, and nothing I've heard so far leads me to believe that he would commit to a cause for the benefit of the people, let's say.
From what I've heard, he's quite a traditionalist. He was once a leading admiral in the Eberith Dynasty fleet, but something had happened, he had been missing, and no one had seen him since. He then worked from the shadows with this new, almost vampiric form. Not dead, not alive, but something in between. I've been told that it's of vampiric nature, and it seems to stem from some sort of curse placed upon him by his betrothed, or at least that's what people call her. Belthugar. No, not Belthugar, what the fuck? What's her name?
Manahur.
Manahur, that's it, sorry. Manahur. She's tied to the Fae. She is one of 3 siblings of and he gestures to your chest. That person in particular. She has been cursed like any other that has been followed by Madame Lazille, and thus she has no other choice than to curse onwards. But he follows her to the bitter end, and I'm sure that she is the one pulling the strings rather than him. For she seems to have the power. She has the capability. Everything stems from her. Now, her intentions I don't know. She's always been silent and from the shadows. But when they were the Unionists, she had complete control over it all. Until that disbanded, well, that's where we are now. But perhaps, if it is more information on Admiral Thorne that you need, I could reach out to these Unionists. Some of them still remain, not as one unit, but spread out across the worlds. I could see if one of them could perhaps speak with you in regards to him. They would have more of a personal take.
That would be helpful, yes. So if I might trouble you, please do.
Not at all, not at all. I will ask away, and I'll see who is available. I doubt we'll be getting in connections with, well, the Queen of Zeftal. That seems quite difficult. But perhaps someone else within the lower rankings. I'll write it down. And you see him just kind of like take a mental note. But you have found yourself in quite a spin, Ulrin. A lot of these influential figures, a lot of names from history you're seemingly running into. Are you feeling up to the task?
Truth be told, no. I feel very small, especially as of late. But we tread on. We've had success so far, and I will ensure that it stays that way.
Well, if it is of any consideration, your training is underway but not complete. Perhaps you would have more confidence in your own ability if you were to complete the trials. There are certain trials that can be taken out, and they are relating to crafts, but you must seek out the masters to gain their approval first. We can start this process if you wish, but only when you're ready. Perhaps this will give you the confidence that you need to push onwards on these uphill battles. Because although you are strong and capable and very crafty, perhaps there is still doubt in your own abilities within you. And I hope that maybe this, your birthright really, is something to help quell the mind.
I'll think on it. Though currently tasks keep finding me.
Well, perhaps when you feel ready, these challenges will appear for you in your path, as seemingly everything else has.
Perhaps. Though, returning on the previous topic,
Yes.
Everton, I would like to advise the whole of Trasvila to attempt peace. From what I know of the weapons of Gilgamesh, they are destructive in nature and large of scale. The war may have lulled as of late, but should it rekindle and should desperation take hold, then the death toll will be enormous.
Yes, I will put this forward to the council. I know they have tried to reach out to other powers, and I know that some of these powers have tried to make themselves included in all of this. The Void Empire especially have been quite vocal in wanting to help. But their help sometimes isn't the best help. They have weapons of mass destruction too, so we are trying to stop a war on both fronts. It is quite a tumultuous time. But knowing this, knowing that they can equally react backwards, with a retaliation of a same and equal level, I will advise and push for this equilibrium, for this balance once again.
Thank you. I do not ask only for the benefit of the many. Remember, my brother is among their ranks, and I'd prefer to see him live.
Of course. Family is important. It is one of the many tenets that compose what Moradin stands for. We must look after each other and maintain life and creativity. Well, I will do all of this, Ulrin. You have my word. And I will ensure that the council and everyone else is understanding of these dangers ahead. I do wish you well, friend. Do be careful on your road. You may be tempted by darkness, but I know you're pure of heart. That light will shine through.
Thank you.
And then he'll kind of tap you on the shoulder and then nod to the owners of the bar and then leave towards the temple after having had this sit down and drink with you. Is there anything else that you get up to? If you want to still think, we can jump over to the next person.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can jump ahead.
All right. Brooke, you're up. What would you like to do first during your downtime?
With how important this pillar that is now the statue of Kamara and indestructible it is, Oberon wants to make sure that basically a tower is built around it and kind of integrated into the castle for security purposes.
Sure, yeah.
Just kind of build up kind of like halfway between like tangled tower and a lighthouse style thing, and just kind of make sure it's included in the design.
Yeah. The first thought that came to my head was a little bit phallic and was kind of reminiscent of the old classic Finding Mermaid castle.
Finding Mermaid, you mean?
What was it called? Little Mermaid? Finding
Mermaid. From Finding Mermaid is how it's
The Little Mermaid. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? Yeah. When Disney used to be edgy? Yeah, you can do so. The fairies and everyone else was helping out with this build are just like, what do you mean? That doesn't sound structurally sound. How's it going to stand? What if it gets hit?
Circle the stable shapes and just build bracers, and starts like using minor illusion. And if you build bracers under the stairs like this and wrap them around, then it should be fine, and there's still enough head clearance to walk up the steps. And it's like,
where did you learn this shit? That's not how it works.
Oberon's just like looking at them like, homie, do you want to argue with me right now? It's like, I mean, if you really don't want to do it, I can have a conversation with Hollow about your unwillingness to cooperate.
No!
With,
Flies
her
up and
efforts.
just instantly starts to, boys! Just rounds everyone up. Time to go! Do what the woman says! And just starts going around and helping out where they can. And they start creating the building that surrounds the sort of statue here. It will take not too long before the entire city is actually built up and ready to go, because you do have this army, this sort of armada around you just building up. You have the port that is now being built up again. Not most of the port was destroyed, so you have the port main station, but it's now being almost enhanced and larger as more ships come in. Yeah, exactly. So everything is slightly becoming bigger and bigger. As it seems that people are here to stay, and probably Queen Hollow has even ushered in people to now fill in these homes and to help out where need be, to bring the infrastructure back up to what it should be. But throughout all of this, you can see that Amandus is also with you, just kind of nodding along. On occasion, you have Markovi just kind of also directing and pointing his hand up, not really knowing what he's doing. He's just mimicking you. The fairy's just looking at him, and then look back at you. It's like, yes, kid, we'll get you that, and just continue flying off. As these strange, weird, like parks and like slides and this sort of all one-piece playground that's larger and wider than it should be is all formed together through his command. Not practical at all, but they seem to have followed his instruction to the T. Amandus goes up to you at one point, mid-construction of the city. Well, we've done quite a good job here. Well done. Well done. Your father would be very proud.
I think he would be.
No, of course he would. Why wouldn't he be? Look, you've got everything you need. Massive dick tower in the middle. Large buildings. Lovely home. Never did I think that we could do this.
More towers.
Yes, that might be
just
best.
To distract from it, because right now, with the one, it's a bit.
It's quite tall.
Maybe we need more towers.
It's quite imposing, which is, I guess, part of the allure.
If we build a few more and do some bridges, maybe they'll look less scary.
That sounds like a good idea. I've spoken to Hollow. She has arrived on occasion, but we've been busy, so I've dealt with her myself. She's ready to get back into business, to start the sort of sentiment train, if you will. She's asked for a surplus of joy, which is what, well, your father provided most of. So I think we can provide that. One question remains, though. When this is all built up and finished, she has sort of asked me to lead it, but I perhaps offer it to you instead. It seems only right that you are given first choice here, Oberon. Do I still call you Oberon?
I think it's fitting. So much has changed. I'm sorry. I know it's a little strange. I think I would like to do what he did. If you could stay, I don't know what your plans are, what you've been doing, but I may have to leave for the time being. I think the plan is to still find the rest of the demons, but there's big search times in between. There's no reason I couldn't be here. Just leave, and there's gonna be an end to all of this eventually. And I don't want to leave him by himself. I just would gesture to wherever Markovi is telling the fairies to build more slides.
He's on a slide that's like stairs. He's just like, It's not rounded at all.
I can't leave him by himself. This is my priority. is my responsibility now. And I'm worried for him. He is Tintava's as much as he is father's. It's in his blood. Guess it's in mine as well, somehow, with all of this, but I'm worried about leaving him by himself.
Well, I admire the decision. I think it is quite... I'm very proud of you for making it. It's a very selfless decision. To go out there and risk your life to stop this incursion, whatever this demonic force is. It's, well, I think it's a wise decision. And I will be sure to keep the seat warm for when you eventually take it over. And, well, I will be suzeraning the place in your stead until your eventual arrival.
We have a friend who's a writer. I thought I might commission him for some plays to help get the trade up and running.
That'll be wise. Seeing as we need a surplus of face sentiment, it would be a good idea. Rally up the troops. I have a few contacts. Let's see if they'll answer this time. We can try. Anything to get this city back up and running again. It's
have them make some of the theaters a bit bigger, a bit grander.
Of course, we have the space for it anyway. And I'm sure we can ask them to build some more in the distance. Hollow has given us pretty much the entire land that surrounds Harperley. So, we can claim whatever we want. Whether we go into the Tipsy-Turvy Valley or into the Twilight Forest, we have all of that as ours, really. She was quite impressed by what you were able to do, and the end result, at least, with removing Tintava from the board. I think as well, she kind of has a bit of a underlying hold on us, if I'm honest. Since, well, a lot of her influence is here now. But I see no harm in it.
I'd rather she be here in this moment than not. Especially if she finds us especially interesting at the moment, if anything comes knocking. She is a force to be reckoned with.
Well, speaking of forces, since I will be here in Harperley, safe and sound, I think it might be prudent that I give you these. And he pulls out his rapier and he pulls out his hand crossbow. I'd use these as a tool of revenge towards Tintava. There was so much sentiment that was flowing from me. The anger, the hatred, the need for, well, a darker time had allowed me to forge these weapons. And well, I have no need for them anymore, since it's accomplished. Since you are going on this mission of yours, perhaps it is best it is with you. You might find a better use for them.
Oberon would reach out to take them.
As soon as you touch them in your hands, you feel that sort of wave of like vile nature and tendencies all bubbling up at the fingertips. These weapons are enchanted, but not on a magical level, but more of a spiritual level. The sentiment has been poured into these, and all of it is just encapsulated into them. And you feel it as soon as you pick it up. It doesn't influence you, but it's kind of like that, oof, these are a bit unnerving to hold.
I will kind of wrap them in something and kind of stow them and go, I think it's healthy to let go of all this rage, vengeance. Say it's a selfless quest, but when I started it was entirely selfish. Initially, you promised us a wish to get all of it done. You can guess what I would have used it for. Things gone badly.
Well, I guess to this story there is always a silver lining. No matter how bad things got, when he turns back around, we have all of this again. We have each other again. I'm just very thankful to be in this position. And, well, we have our ways of protecting this place without the need of these weapons. We have the spirit. We have the people.
Speaking of weapons, I've been meaning to talk to you about your overly friendliness with Gil.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Wait, I mean, how he owed you a favor? What does that mean, a man like that? I know you've had a checkered past and there was a lot before all of this, but
Well, 15 years ago I had been exploring the world, gathering sentiment for Queen Hollow. I was once very close in Queen Hollow's court. I was one of her major generals at the time. I had pushed the sentiment train, and as well I had been quite diplomatic with many of the surrounding area. Meant that I had to do some not so savory things if the tithe wasn't completed. But these lessons and laws were in place for a reason, and someone had to act upon them. But since then, I took a step back, and I went around the world and making connections, learning, helping, gathering. There was one point where I'd met a man, quite down in his luck, I would say. And it was... well, he was different back then. I don't know if you've seen him recently, but he was more full of life, more full of joy. But there was always a hint of that something was missing in him. And I guess I saw him on one of these lower notes. He was desperate, he was alone, and he had nothing to himself. When all was dour and the land was dried up, he was walking alone, thirsty, hungry, unable to find anything to touch, to eat. All I could find in the travel until I found him, was just ash, decay. The man couldn't even eat or drink for himself. It would all just evaporate. He was desperate. He was in need of help. And I could sense the sentiment pouring out of him. Desperation, loneliness, sadness. I could feel it as though he was like a child. I had no other remedy than to help him. And we spent some time together. I traveled with him, and I'd learned of his gift, his unique aspect. And he had quite a disdain for authority more specifically those that abuse it. Which was something that, well, was a juxtaposition from what I'm used to. So we had a few words about it, but we found a common ground. He was fairly amicable, easy to speak to. I think he was desperate for conversation. And, well, eventually we parted ways, but I knew that there was going to be something in him that would awaken someday. So I made sure to keep a sort of track of what he was up to and his going-ons. We had met up a few times throughout the years following, and every time I'd met him, he had climbed the ladder of some social rank, getting higher and higher up. And then came the weapons, then came the sort of hunger and outrage. And he offered me one day if I wished these influence of power, and I decided against it. Until, well, I did get desperate. Tintara entered. What happened, and, well, I felt powerless. So I had no other remedy than to reach out to someone, for a favor. I'm not happy of it. I'm not proud of myself for divulging in his wants and needs, but I did have a favor. I saved his life, and thusly, he gave me those. Strangely, a life for a life.
His decay, how were you in that state? How were you near him? Now he seems to have it under control, but...
Back then, it was certainly a unruly process. He didn't seem to quite have mastered it by that point. Not even being able to feed himself. Literally anything he'd touch. But, I guess with time he honed it. He was able to control whatever it was inside of him, and he never divulged into what it was, or what he experienced, and to be honest, I never really asked. Although I was curious, I could tell that he was never going to be honest with me about it. He seemed to have been betrayed one too many times for me to ask him to open up. So I just left it be.
What do you make of him now, as he is?
Now?
If you knew him then.
I don't know. Perhaps he is more blinded to the thing that he pursued. But I've not seen him in at least a couple of months. So I couldn't tell you what I could think of him now, but when I last saw him, he was aspirational. He said he would take down the crime syndicates, but I don't know if that was even possible.
Someone with an ostensibly noble goal. So off-putting. I just don't even...
Yes, he has a bit of a macabre humor, that's for certain. Yes, I guess if you didn't know him from the beginning, it would be quite difficult to adjust to his sensibilities and likeness. But I was able to get along with him, but then again, I'm not like most people when it comes to conversation. But, well, I considered him a friend once. But since no one came to my aid, except for the Flores twins, I wouldn't call him a friend now.
Perhaps now we have clarity on where people stand, at least.
For certain. For certain. These weapons, these tools of destruction, I don't intend to use them. In fact, I will be burying them deep below, so where no one can find them. I think that is probably for the best. There was a point where I thought of giving them to you, but not the fact that I don't trust you with them. I don't want anyone to have them. I don't think this world deserves that. That much pain, that much taken away from it.
I'd agree. Perhaps there's a better place to put them, though.
Where do you think?
There are some strange items in the house that can store entities, objects, at the very edges of time.
Very
Perhaps
good.
there.
Then I will come with you and place them in there then. The two of you head into the Hussar estate next time it arrives, and you place the sort of contents, this mini chest, in one of the frame paintings. And just leave it there resting. To always be seen, always be visible. And you see the lock sort of closes on it, and he has the key. I will keep this with me. At least both are not in the same place. And he'll pocket it away. Well, shall we continue with the rebuild? Now that this is all
Yes.
out of the way.
I think some of those slides maybe need some rounding.
Yes. They resemble more steps than a slide, so perhaps the builder should not be taking Markovi's words quite literally. But it's nice that they're listening to him. They should.
I think maybe some of the double-decker towers are not particularly doable, though I'm sure they will try. And basically would have people build some more towers so the castle looks less phallic, and like have them do like overly loopy bridges, and makes it so that, you know, from one angle the bridges make like the optical illusion of like the shape of a harp, and it's all very dramatic, and some of the slides are definitely visible from like a little too far away from the castle.
You're creating
make sure they
towers.
all have like making sure they all have like, you know, railings that have like appropriate gap spacing so like children can't fall through them, and you know, all the banisters are up to code. Yeah.
Perfect.
We're OSHA approving Harperley.
I was going to say the same. Do you wish to build outside of the Harperley grounds, going into the other areas? Do you have any ideas for those? Because otherwise what would happen is they would place almost settlements, not built up sort of civilizations, but just towns to go across, because there was one town that was there that had been ransacked, where you had that sort of entropy, the drink. That is all being slowly retaken back and focused again, but now that is also in your hold. So you have control over that, you have control over Harperley, and anything within the two areas between. So unless there's anything you wish to describe there.
Would have, like, again, is making everything, you know, an exaggerated version of like the stories they were told. A hospital, B would get like the fountain or a fountain restored, similar to how their dad had one, probably just in the center of town rather than in the castle, just as a bit more of a monument. Would have the town that Entropy was in like new fun cobblestone roads that are all like wonky shapes, and would have like a funky, like, bullshit tour set up for the musical Valley, and that kind of shit just is going full, let's make this as, like, as ridiculous, like, fully over the top storybook. Like, it went from theoretically looking like a storybook kingdom to, like,
now becoming
yeah.
oh, very good.
Almost like a caricature of what it was, but in, like, a very kind of bright way.
Cool.
As if it, like, basically from Oberon's, like, memory as a kid. Everything's, like, a little bit bigger, a little bit more
with everything
crazy.
more drastic and more sort of stylized to the tens. You begin to create the sort of the outer lining and then building it in to the idea that you have for the sort of Harperley Kingdom that's here just outside of Queen Hollow's Hold. Excellent. So while that's all going on, we'll jump back to Cal. Cal, a couple more days have passed since the sort of interaction that you had spiritually, and you have been going through the sort of now this sort of dead sort of field that you've been going through is now descended down into sort of a cave system. Maria still seems a bit out of it for the most part, as she's still like questioning everything, on occasion looking at Alejandro's sort of like wings and his armor, just a bit questioning a few things there. He's doesn't really care, he's moving forward. The cave system that's here, now that you are in the sort of underground elements, you're seeing the roots now beginning to move underneath all sides of the cylindrical tunnel that heads downwards. And it does like cylindrical in a way that something has definitely carved its way through and made this sort of beeline towards something in particular. And as they sort of reach out and dance and create these everlasting lights here, you eventually see those sort of blue neon lights turn with a sort of reflective red, ruby red. And this is where you begin to see the beginnings of the sort of civilization that they had sort of had and called home. There is broken shards of this sort of red material everywhere. And some of it's even sort of melted in ways that doesn't seem to quite hold. As you step into it, it's like a bit of a sinew, like blood that's congealed slightly, and it just leaves sort of like a pressed mark on the ground as you step into it. But the rest of the hall sort of continues down into this very glitz, very glamoury sort of shards, very jagged angles, very sort of like cubism where everything's a bit sort of in your face and a bit far away. Everything doesn't quite feel close, but it is, and it's quite far. But Alejandro continues forward with a sort of like defiant walk. No, this is our home. Welcome, Calameos.
It's very fascinating. Thank you for welcoming me here. This is so interesting.
It is the Rose Grove. It is where we grew up, where our family used to live. And, well, this is home for us. Be careful. A lot of it is destroyed and broken. You may find some of our dead here as well, as he just continues to walk through.
Right. Do you want help, like, burying them?
We have done what we can, but the land will take the rest.
Right. And, like, we could ask, like, I think we just established a pretty good connection to Queen Hollow. So, we could ask if she could help rebuild this place, maybe.
What would be the point?
You know, for future generations.
What generations?
For the future. Well, you still exist, I exist, our patron exists. You know, we could restart the progress. This time maybe with slightly less violent teachings.
Maria kind of looks over. What is the point if everything that we learned was based on lies? Based on theories of old men?
Well, now you know the truth, and now you can teach new generations the truth and not the lies, but...
What has gotten into you, Maria? Why are you being so pig-headed? This is our home. This is our faith. Why are you being such a contrarian now? I saw the light, brother. I saw the truth. These people, our family, were lying to us. They had made up their own testaments and decisions on how to pray to the Rose Dragon. All of it was lies. He kind of just shakes his head. He looks towards you, Cal, as she kind of wanders off. What did you do to her?
I brought her with me when I went to visit our patron. Like she asked, I feel I'm starting to feel bad. Do you also want to meet him? I'm not sure. He was kind of grumpy, the last time, so I'm not sure he wants to visit us again this soon. But I could try. He might say no, though.
If it will help me understand why my sister is in this state of mind, then yes.
Well,
do it now! He sits down.
Oh, now.
Yes, now!
Okay. Oh boy, this might not work. Please don't tear my head off if this doesn't work.
We will see.
Okay, so, like I told her, and, you know, he's gonna relax into Janet, have Janet, like, behind him. Reach out to, the root of your powers inside of you, and, like, concentrate on your connection to
Get on with it!
Like, no, this is important. It worked like this the
boring
last time,
me.
so you have to, but that's okay.
Where's the blood?
Very bored very quickly. There is no blood in this. You're just actually, since blood is kind of your connection to your patron, maybe focus on the blood and the chaos and what you like
Bites
to
into
tell
his
our
hand.
patron, maybe. No, that's
blood
not
just
what,
begins to
okay.
pour out. And he smears
And
it
now
onto
relax
his fur.
and concentrate on the bond.
He wipes his
Okay.
blood onto you as well.
Oh, that was unnecessary. Okay, cool. And Kel's gonna try and concentrate and
Roll a
Reach out to
wisdom
his
check
patron
again.
Oh, imagine if it's another net 20. That would be so funny. 9. Okay.
9.
9.
You try to reach out to the sort of powers that be, and I guess it's just the tension that he's bringing that it just doesn't quite work. He's got his eyes closed, and then at one point he just like stares at you with these wide eyes. Why isn't it working?
Well,
I am still here.
Yeah. So like I said, he was a bit grumpy the last time, and like I think he didn't want company.
Ah.
So he might be busy.
He just stands
You know,
up.
sometimes they have stuff to do. I don't know. So we can try again tomorrow.
He just waves his hand over to you and then continues moving through.
Okay.
Can you roll a religion or history check as you're walking through this place?
Both things I'm very good at. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
17.
As you're walking through this crystalline sort of opening here, everything has been formed and etched out of this same sort of like ruby glass. It seems very similar to the sort of petal that you picked up, in fact. It's almost like everything's being coalesced into this one point. Now, none of it resembles the sort of shape or pattern that's there, nor does it have that sort of glow that yours has. But still, it has that same sort of feel, that same sort of smell. And this place does smell like iron. Like it feels like it's all sort of crystalline blood just everywhere. There are columns, there are sort of support structures around at different points. It's all been etched and carved to create a sort of townstead. You're walking through and you're seeing what looks like a building. You're seeing sort of like the thicker elements of sort of structure used to create housing. You can see a lot of people just there, sort of armor and weaponry and clothing just left scattered on the ground. And you find as you enter this sort of open space in the middle, and this place is quite big underground, you find what looks like a sort of courtyard, a larger open space where there are recesses in the ground where it looks like perhaps a fountain would spray out from. But being here, it's probably a blood fountain, really. And those sort of inlets that are around in that area, it looks circular in design, and it seems that places where people would probably sit in this circle. As you're looking at these positions and you see them all sort of half circle shaped looking towards something else, you see a broken monument to the Rose Dragon. You see sort of half the body cut down, broken apart, the head shattered onto the floor as it's just all destroyed in tatters in different areas. You see people underneath them also sort of crushed. It looks like there was quite a massacre in this place. And this sort of town looks like it probably held a good 100 people or so. It's quite big. But it all seemed to be very a closed community. From what you're seeing, like everything here, there's sort of red flags and alarms that are going off in your head. This seems less of a place of worship and more of a sort of cult, really. You remember reading about sort of worshippers of the Rose Dragon that would sacrifice and bleed or sort of give viscera and people's vitality to the Rose Dragon. This seems to be one of those places, and probably the same sort of books that you read about. And everything here is giving you the vibe of these people were all tainted and turned to this mentality by perhaps someone in particular or some people. Is there anything you want to do here as you're walking through?
Two things. First of all, he's going to remember where this specific spot is, and then he's going to take a further look around. Can I tell where this may be, not where this like faith originated, but where the building started? Like, is there a specific point? Can I discern a reason for why they would want to be here?
Sure.
Why deep below the earth? Why in the Feywild? Is there like a point where the buildings start, or I don't know, something of
where the entire place seems to convalesce into one point? It looks like a palisade of sorts. It's not really a palace of like grand status, but it's the main building that connects from the top and the bottom, and those sort of stems that go up and down, they have this sort of thicker, darker black blood that's dripping from the top and up from the bottom. This seems to be almost like a connecting point for maybe something in particular. The building is half destroyed, but it's sort of open on one side that you can walk into and try and figure out more.
Yeah, I'll be very careful.
Okay.
More of a thought of like, I don't want to step on any corpses.
Yeah.
And also I don't want to, break through any roofs. So he's being very careful, but he's trying to investigate.
Okay. As you kind of step through, you see Alejandro just kind of like stop you. Calameus! You're not allowed to go in there.
Yes?
None of us are.
Why?
Only the Lord can.
Okay, who is the Lord?
Well, they are dead.
Okay, who is his heir?
There is none. Everyone here is dead now. But we made an oath to never go in. That also means trespassers, Cal.
Okay, even trespassers that, like, have a very special connection to me?
He is right. Let Calameus in. We may have taken that oath, but he hasn't. And he is not an intruder, he is one of us. Sister, what has he shown you? Truly, you cannot believe him. I believe him Rather, I saw it myself. Nah. You see, he kind of like pulls backwards. And he sort of raises his arm forward. No, I don't think I do. And gestures it towards you. You put your hands up.
Okay. Well, since the meditation didn't seem to work, I think there's only one more thing I can do to convince you. So let me one more chance.
You see the flames begin to sort of lick inside of the draconic arm.
Okay.
Cannon that he has.
Give me just... He's gonna summon Janet, who has in the past once talked to Cal. Once. So he's literally looking at her, being like, Janet, do you really want to weigh in?
It's just kind of side-eyeing you and looking towards the guy with a massive cannon arm.
I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him. Please.
As that fire is sort of brewing in his cannon arm.
I really don't want to fight you.
He won't, but I will. And you see a sort of weapon thrown directly towards the cannon arm and knocked to the side. Sister! As he starts like adjusting himself. Do you really wish to go down this line? Yes, brother, I do. Because you are still stuck in the old ways. And you see the sort of blades, the two double-sided scimitars appear in front of her. She just places herself into this sort of combative stance. The two of them are having this sort of face-off. What do you do?
Just looking at Janet, be like, really? You're just gonna let them do this? You can, oh, don't shrug at me. You can convince him to stop. Oh. Okay. Are they really distracted? I'm assuming yes.
They are, yeah. They look like they're going to fight.
I'm so tempted to just go explore now, but at the same time, I feel like this is on me. So, oh god, what can I? Okay, what else is there? What can I say to convince this dude? I can't say anything. How do I convince a religious fanatic that he's in fact wrong? Yeah, I guess he's just going to try and help Maria. But he's mostly going to try and focus on subduing. Like, instead of trying to harm, he's just going to be like, okay, stop! And just going to be casting spells that, like, maybe keep people in place and stuff like that.
Okay. Can you roll just an attack roll? Just one to see how you are during this combat.
With what?
Just your bow. Just use your sort of bow attack, your main attack feature, just to see.
I think I do fairly well for myself.
Okay. You see, he's just kind of not listening. There's probably like he's just in his own head at this point, as he is just ready to fight. She's not even trying to talk him down either. You look like you see that she's probably going to kill him.
I'm trying to talk both of them down.
Can you roll a persuasion check?
Oh. Persuasion 20.
Okay. With your sort of mix of spells, entangling and using your bow to shoot away some of the attacks that they have, you manage to push the sort of arm cannon out of the way, fires off into the air, globular blood just washes through everywhere.
Oh no.
She is trying to strike him down, but you sort of like pull back her punches as well, restraining him in the process as she is also being restrained. The two of them trying to fight each other from distances that they cannot reach. You're kind of like subduing them slowly.
Can you stop, please?
I will have your head! As he just begins to shout.
No! Oh, for fuck's sake!
I will have your balls! As she just like gives a retort backwards.
You do realize that you are basically the last two of a dying order, and that if you die, or both of you die, especially, then this will just be for nothing, and everything your ancestors did will be for nothing, so stop trying to kill each other.
They both stop.
Okay. Yay! Progress. I'm not gonna claim that I know everything better than you guys, because I don't. I know a whole lot of shit. I don't know a whole lot of shit. But what I do know is that our patron really enjoys fighting. So this was probably extremely entertaining for them. So good job, you just entertained our patron. What I also know is that there's probably a reason why this lord figure you mentioned does not want us to go in there, and that just makes me more curious about what's in there. And if that maybe gives me a better idea of how to strengthen our patron and maybe get him back into the world and, further along that rebirth thing we were talking about a few days ago. Something that should also be in your guys' interest, because you'll get more powerful and you could maybe, find a reason to rebuild this place and all that fun shit. So, pretty please, I won't touch anything. I just want to go take a look.
With you restraining them through these vines and holding them still, you see Alejandro's trying to move still, but he's lost a lot of energy, and she's just wrapped up as well, not really caring. The both of them have nothing to do but do as you say, really.
Okay. I know you're probably going to try and murder me once you get out of that, but we'll see about what happens when you do that, okay? Janet, are you going to let me know if they get free? You're going to let me know if they get free, okay? Are you actually going to? Or are you just nodding because you think then I'll stop talking?
No, I will.
Okay, can you also go tell that dude that, his sister is correct? Okay. Just let me know.
Okay.
And he's going to go into the building.
Right.
Now, even more curious.
You head into the building to find, again, a lot of it destroyed. Can you roll a survival or nature check as you navigate this space?
Oh, God, that's horrible. What was that? Through balance, we have one guaranteed per session, correct?
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I'll make that one.
Okay. Although there seems to be idols of this sort of draconic figure in different places along the sort of building and the sides, on the walls and the ceiling, there's also depictions of a gentleman, a person, sort of etched into them. Almost sort of, not in prayer, but sort of hands together, reaching out with a dagger in hand. Looks to be ceremonial in nature, as they are built up in this sort of surrounding area as well. In fact, it seems to almost take a change and go from this draconic figure being the centerpiece to now this person. There's one individual just everywhere. They are elven in nature, and you can see the sort of pointed ears, the sort of elven features that are there. But they have no other sort of coloration to them. They are just etched in that same red glass that everything else is. But seemingly wearing sort of ceremonial robes, with the robes almost pulled downwards to where you can almost, they're wrapped over themselves around the belt, around the waist, and you see the sort of bare chest that's there. And on it, you see the sort of etchings of the dragon symbol across, and it seems to wrap around like some sort of tattoo. The halls are mostly broken up, and it's this one large space, but the right wing, which has collapsed, there is a tunnel that seems to connect into another space. It looked to have been just a regular entranceway, but because everything's shattered and closed on top, you can only just barely see that there is a sort of doorway. You want to go through? It's the only way to continue in this space. You crawl through, you find it just barely, and it seems to enter a secondary room on the back. little bit of a hallway before you enter into it. But this seems to be where the sort of red dissipates and becomes this more black sort of sinew. As you reach the center of this room, it's kind of semicircular. It's kind of jagged with how it's presented, almost like a dodecahedron from the inside looking outwards, with everything etched and carved. But from the top, it seems to have this creation, which is not spiral in nature, but almost like double helix, where it seems to come to a singular point. And you can see all the black sinew that's up there and in the glass seems to be slowly filtering down, as though this is some sort of feeding system to drop into something else. And you see the same happening from underneath. There is the same sort of corkscrew, sort of double helix that's going up to the center, and the two of them meet in the very middle. And it seems to be creating this sort of blackened disc that's in the middle, this sort of just ever-growing sort of black energy that's there. As you're looking at this perspective, there is someone in here.
Someone alive?
Someone dead.
Okay.
You look to the other side, the behind, and what you can see is this same elven figure that you had seen depicted in the sort of glasswork behind you, but now they are a bit sort of rotten, a bit sort of decayed, as they have died quite a while ago, but you still see the sort of elements of them still resting there, kneeling down, looking at this blackened disc that is forming in front of them. And what the tattoo was representing before is rather gashes of wounds that are across its body. And there is the same sort of ceremonial dagger that it's holding in its hand, and it looks like it's trying to reach for its chest to impale itself. But the blade doesn't even touch its body, as it looks like he probably died just before he could take forth this sort of ritual that he was preparing. Just elation across his face as death has taken him before he can complete whatever he was trying to complete.
Does any of this look familiar to anything Cal's ever come across? Because this doesn't sound familiar.
No.
So Cal's just like staring at this like, what the fuck is this?
No.
Okay. So basically what's likely is that it was a cover, like some other deity that was being prayed to while they were being told it was the Rose Dragon. Okay. Interesting. Cal is fighting the impulse to poke the black sphere. He is fighting it very valiantly.
The more time you spend in here, the more you're seeing the drops of the black just bloop into it and bloop upwards into this sort of globule mess.
Is it just floating there? Is it rippling if new drops enter?
It's rippling,
like
yeah.
liquid?
It seems to be like holding the liquid in this sort of space that's there. The closer you look, the more you can see there is this extra thin layer, like a bag, is surrounding it and is holding all this liquid within that has been amassing over time.
Oh, I'm so tempted to poke it. Do not poke it. What can I even... Okay. I don't think there's much I can do in terms of trying to figure out what this is. Except from poke it. Oh boy, let me just...
You can roll a nature check or arcana to see if you want to see a bit more.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the vibe of this thing. Is it gonna explode? What is this? If I leave this unattended, is shit gonna go down? 15.
15? With a 15, you notice that your ring has some sort of affinity with it.
Okay. So it might have something to do with the Rose Dragon.
Yeah. The sort of like depiction of the dragon on his person is very similar to what you've seen as the depiction of the Rose Dragon. So perhaps this is a front, but still somewhat parallel to what the Rose Dragon represents.
Guys, if I end up dying in downtime, I'm very sorry.
It's a very Cal thing to do if you do.
With the finger that has the ring on it. He's just barely touching it. Just like the start of his finger, like boop.
Okay. Can you roll a Constitution saving throw, please?
Of course I could do that. Wait, no, sorry, that's not a save. Oh, okay. 24.
Okay. Cal. You poke the sort of dark black blood that's been building up over many years and has been a front by this cult to absorb the nutrients of whatever this sort of leftover, discarded remnants of a bygone era that is called their home. Clearly, some person has been driven to build this up their entire life, has created a cult, a family to get to this point, to have this power in their grasp, and yet they fail at the final hurdle because someone had disturbed it, had stopped it. Now, why would they have stopped it? Why would they have disturbed it? This isn't a question you really think about at the time of pressing this thing, so you do so anyway. You touch the side of this blob, and what ends up happening is that you feel the black ink that is here in this sack pop with your finger, and it just drops to the ground.
Okay. Aside.
That's it.
Okay. Where it's dropped on the ground, is there now just black ooze or something? Or has it disappeared? Or there's black ooze, okay.
You see it creeping towards you. It's just slowly, like a pool of petrol, just inking its way and wrapping towards your essence, your person.
Wait, is it alive? As I'm slowly backing away.
As you
is it alive?
Move away, you see it's not being moving towards you because you're right next to the person, but instead it's moving towards the person that has had the sort of death hit them too soon. It is slowly wrapping its way.
Okay, this might be more stupid. I'm gonna take out the petal that I got from the roast dragon. I'm gonna stab the black stuff.
Okay.
Just, A, put it in contact with him. B, see if maybe this, like, it having a relationship with each other might stop that from moving.
Can you roll a... What would this be? A d20.
A d20.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I'm gonna go seek up my copy of Call of Cthulhu to see how a sanity check works again.
Okay, that is a failure.
I feel like I'm going to wait. So balance also gives you a reroll, right?
Not for this. Not for this.
Fuck.
This is to determine something else. This is just chance, really. You pull out the sharp petal, and you reach out towards the blob.
Was it rolling to see if I bleed onto this thing?
No, to see if you cut yourself. And almost like a paper cut, you cut your finger on this glass petal, and the black ooze just pushes its way into it, and you feel your body just begin to shake uncontrollably. So
yeah, super cool.
You begin to buckle. You feel things in you begin to shift and shake as you are just beginning to lose control in this moment. Your vision becomes slightly sort of blurred as you're trying to adjust in this new sort of vision that you have, as everything is quite not right, and your neck cracks, your back hurts, as something is changing within you. What do you do as this is happening?
I imagine he would be trying to get back out, because if this is something that's going to like take over, then he wants to prevent that no one finds out. As in, he wants to get back to where the other three are, so that maybe they can get word to people that can do something about this.
Okay. As you're stumbling to try and get out of this situation, you just feel everything get slightly smaller as you are pushing your feet ahead, and you just crumble on top of this like now smaller version of the elven sort of cultist that was in this room. You just stumble and move your arm, and you see this sort of like red arm scratch into the roof as you're becoming slightly more bigger and bigger as you get going. At one point, the room is getting too small for you, so you rush towards the hallway as you trying to push in, and you hear it break and shatter as you push through to the other side, as you find yourself shaking, these wings flickering in your face as you emerge to the main courtyard, bursting out of the temple that was here previously. You dwarf these sort of two Leonins looking up at you, just sort of gawk and confusion, as Janet is just sort of trembling, looking up as you have grown at an immense level, and you see this tail just whip past and in front of you as Cal, you have turned into a rose dragon. Only Cal can do this shit.
I'm sorry, I was supposed to poke that? Well, no, I don't think I was. Okay, confusion is large. He's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Your voice just booming out as the two of them are like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Exactly.
As you're moving your hands and sort of gesticulating in this spot, everything's just shattering and breaking with every movement you make.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, oh, go to himself like, no more breaking.
Cal?
Yeah, I think I touched something that I wasn't supposed to touch.
And this is where we're going to jump to someone else.
Fuck, man.
To hear this explanation, the party just throws up as a rose dragon. So, guys,
Hey, guys. So...
You know, us in our off time versus Cal in his off time, guys.
I don't think Cal's off time can be counted as downtime, really.
Nah.
He's the one that ends up rolling.
Living an entire fucking episode of Venom.
Bad run it too. Oh my lord.
Okay, we jump back to Alicio. What else would you like to get up to in your downtime?
After things kind of calm down a little bit, he is still not wanting to think about what happened, really. Maybe even avoiding going to the main castle area. But he's trying to keep himself busy even if there's nothing to do. So cleaning the manor, staying up late to brainstorm theories that him and Claudius had, just no leisure time, keeping his mind occupied, keeping his hands occupied as well, just doing busy work. Checking if he got a letter from, a letter back from his father.
From the constant backs and forth of awaiting the sort of arrival of the response to a message you've sent a while back at this point, throughout your downtime, you hear this just appear beside you, and a bound scroll appears as a letter has been sent. It's the same form as what you have when it comes to the sort of, I forget what it's called now, the item, but the message that you had previously sent. It comes in the same form as you receive it. It is bound. It's not open.
Kind of in the middle of writing something for himself, whether it's the theories he had. He looks at it. I'm assuming there is there like a marking from the River Blue House or anything?
Because of the spell's sort of making, you know it's from him directly, but there's no other sort of external pressing or markings. Just
the
comes in
previous
default.
letter was just like a regular one, by the way.
Oh, okay. This is the one you're talking about, or you're talking about the one that you had sent by the
I mean,
magic.
there was one with the magic one, but then the regular letter was sent probably like weeks ago at this point.
In reference to the magical letter, since that was still pending, you knew you sent the message out, but they have a free reply to come to you. It's essentially the same sort of system. The letter lands at their side, and then they can respond whenever they feel free to. So you have the magical form that's arrived to you. Do you open it?
Yeah, he'll wait a bit and then he'll open it. Just read.
You probably spend a day probably worrying or wondering what it says as you're fixated on cleaning and helping out around the house. By the time you eventually open it up, dreading whatever it says, you unscroll it. You keep scrolling. You keep scrolling, and then it ends with nothing on it. There is no message.
Just looks at it with a face of, I don't know what I expected. And closes it and dismisses it. He just sits there and kind of sighs in relief, because at least it's not as bad as he might have thought it up in his head, but still it's nothing. He'll at some point cast a sending to his mother that was more like a update, like, hey, as promised, checking in, things are okay, I'm okay. Went to the Feywild, met a tree, that was fun. Okay, hope you're doing well, love you.
Okay, you send the message. It is good to hear you. I'm glad that you are having fun in the Feywild. I had some time in the Feywild when I was younger. I won't tell you much more about it. Fun, though. I'm glad you're making friends over there with a tree. Very interesting, exotic friends. All is well. I miss you lots. And the message ends because she runs out of words.
Just sighs at his desk and puts his head in his hands, and then stands up to get his mind off of things again, and finds another room that has yet not been cleaned, and just full on spring cleaning. Everything gets taken out, then reorganized and cleaned and scrubbed.
You probably enter one of the rooms of Life's Echo. We'll say it's Sorrel, as he's just looking at you. Hey, dude, you don't have to be doing this. I'll clean my own room.
What's the state of the room like at this moment?
It's not the cleanest, but it's not the dirtiest. It's just about average. He's thrown some things to the side that he hasn't dealt with just yet. The bed isn't like tucked either, so it's a little bit messy, but not overly so. He's not like Sallow. That was a hard going, and he was happy for you to deal with it.
Ew. Just looks at him. No, this is needs cleaning. So, and there's not much else to do, and might as well do this.
All right,
Be
fine.
a lot better.
As long as you don't mind Fred being here.
Looks around, not knowing the name Fred. Who?
He's the guy that keeps following me around. I think he's under the bed.
Uh-huh. Slowly looks under the bed from a safe distance.
You just see in the sort of darkest elements of the shadow, these red eyes just staring. Ah, he's harmless. Well, I think so, at least. I've never really talked to him. He's not much of a talker.
Do others know about this?
Yeah.
Like Richter and...
Oh yeah, they all know. Caroline's tried to talk to him a few times, but he's non-communicative, so what can you do, eh? As long as he's not watching me while I'm sleeping, that gets weird.
And you're just okay with this?
No. What else am I going to do?
Kick him out?
How? Every time I get closer, he just disappears.
Can I try to move the bed to see if he'll, like, follow it, or...?
You shift and try and move things around. Wherever the shadow laid, you just see the eyes just continue to move alongside and watch.
Gets a broom. Wow.
The red eyes just like watch the broom as it's now going under the bed.
Just try to push him out. Make him skedaddle out from under the bed.
You try hitting where he is and he just shifts and moves constantly.
That's just stupid thing, just trying to hit him with the broom.
There's no point, you're not going to get him.
You know what? You can clean your own room. I'm just gonna find another place to clean. I'm sure there's rooms to clean. And
I did warn you.
tries to find another place just to be able to focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps thinking about the blank page.
Yeah. That final confrontation that you had with him where no words were shared, just you almost feel that again here. You just remember seeing him in that moment, seeing him by the docks as that being the last confrontation that you've had with him. And could very well be the last with all of the conflicts that are going on.
Why would you say that?
It's true.
Why would you say that to me?
It's true.
Well, now that's a thought in Alicia's head. Just as he's cleaning, it doesn't really help with the spiraling thoughts. And he doesn't even notice that he's been probably scrubbing at the same spot for the past 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Walking past you, just seeing this, Aiden Nassar just looks down. Is everything all right? You've been cleaning that same spot for 10 minutes. It looks clean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right.
He sits at the stairs that you're currently cleaning. You've done quite an excellent job maintaining this place and keeping it clean. But is this, are you doing this for a reason?
Things are just better when they're clean, and someone has to take care of this place, and, a lot of people walk in here and don't take off their shoes, and then there's mud and dirt and germs everywhere.
Well, and then I will leave you to it. But if you want to talk about it, I'm here. And he just stands up and just gives you a sort of courteous nod and descends downwards, not touching the ground, as his sort of cape/wings just hover him in place so he doesn't dirty up the floors around.
Just kind of gives a nod, as in thank you for not stepping on them, but he'll sit and he'll look around to see if Kai's around the place or if he's been busy.
Mm-hmm. He's around. He's been training as well down below, so you can see on occasion he's a little bit sweaty as you kind of come across him. He wipes it down as quick as he can. How you doing? You okay?
Yeah, things are fine.
That sparring area downstairs, fucking great. It's got everything.
Yeah, seems pretty useful. I've been training with Richter there a bit.
Have you tried a jacuzzi?
The what now?
There's a fucking jacuzzi down there.
Have you just been going down there to use the jacuzzi?
No!
You have been, haven't you?
It's a pretty good fucking jacuzzi. You should try it.
Sure. Maybe after cleaning it once or twice, just upkeep.
Well, it's magically put together, whatever the fuck this place is, so I don't think it can get any dirt.
I guess. I don't know if that's how that works.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make you feel better. And to get in the jacuzzi.
Flashes with a bit of red. Oh.
So, it's still warm.
I feel like I have to roll for Alicia, for fuck's sake. What's stronger, the fear or...
The fear or a booty call? Lame.
That was the save against Horny.
Ah.
No, it wasn't.
We interpret the way we like. From a certain point of view.
He looks at Kai and it's obvious he doesn't want to or is not ready to, but there's a sense of guilt and he's just in this in-between state of not knowing what to say to him.
He'll just look back and forth. Otherwise, I can help clean. I know my standards aren't as high as yours, but I can help out, and then you can just... afterwards.
I guess we could try to clean it together.
Okay. It's a date.
Just looks at him for a second. Tries to read his expression.
Hey, look, there's not many opportunities having a date in here. This place is filled with people.
I know, it's not that.
What is it then?
I'm sorry that I'm not.
That you're not?
That I can't be like a normal partner.
There's no such thing as a normal partner. We all have our quirks. What's wrong with that? I accept yours for what they are, and I hope you accept what mine are. Simple. Don't be silly. Okay. So, date, clean the hot tub. I'll get the drinks.
Okay. Nothing alcoholic though.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
lightweight.
Yeah. What? Yep. Mm-hmm. You just hear him like talking to someone. I'm gonna get him in that hot tub.
As he hears that, there is still this small inkling of guilt, but he heads down to try to look at this jacuzzi. What state is it in?
It's fair. It's all right. It's just being sort of heated up at the moment. Can you roll a sort of investigation check?
Sure. 12.
12. Okay. You see some sort of bubbling in the middle from all the sort of the bubbles from the jacuzzi, and then you see something just hover up to the top as you see Sallow just naked in there rubbing his belly.
Oh, that's disgusting.
What? It's a fucking jacuzzi, dude.
I didn't know there was anyone in. Put up a sign.
What do you mean put up a sign? It was warm. It was made. I thought it was. There was no one else here.
Oh, never mind. Oh, and he's just gonna walk away.
Hey. And he just like flips back into the water.
Immediately disgusted knowing the state of his room, just like, hell no.
Kai runs down. He's like, what? He's got the bottle of like wine and just a bottle of water that he's taking from the tap. What's happened?
Doesn't want to fully turn back to where the jacuzzi is.
Just looks behind your back.
I believe our date has been compromised.
Oh, motherfucker. And he just starts walking in.
Oh.
You see him roll up his sleeves as he just grabs the fucking halfling. The fuck, dude? What the fuck are you doing? As he's being like tugged around. Get the fuck out of here. I made this. Fucking piece of shit. Hey, all right, fuck. It's just like skedaddles out like a naked baby. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to fucking clean this thing now. That's disgusting.
I just cleaned those floors.
Fucking prick! As he just shouts down. Continues to waddle his way up the stairs. Two of you end up cleaning the jacuzzi, emptying it out. And even he's a bit like, this is disgusting. There's like hairs in here because he's quite hairy.
Oh, Alicia is gagging.
Even Kai's gagging. As soon as you go.
Do you just want to do something else?
Yeah.
I don't think this is the most romantic thing we could do, really.
Why does this one have skin at the end of it?
Oh, you didn't have to say that.
As the two of you are just kind of like bonding over this moment of disgust. He leaves with you, just kind of goes along with you, trying to clean everything. He's just wiping his hands twice, 3 times over.
Doing the same thing, just up to 7, and there's this just more rigid. I mean, Alicia is always rigid in his movement, but he's just very cautious, a lot more rigid than before.
Do you want to sit by the garden at least? Get some fresh air from the flowers?
That sounds nice.
Okay. I need to get that smell out of my nose. Have you got any, like, salts or something?
Yeah. Oh, not the nice smelling kind, but...
Anything. Anything.
Just gives him some, like, herbal mix that he has, like a box of tea or something.
Oh, that's quite strong.
Sorry.
At least it's the only thing I can smell now. Oh, much better.
If I had some lavender, maybe it would have been better, but...
No, this is good. It's also distracts my brain from it. So...
kind of what I do most of the time.
Kind of get it. Well, yeah.
Thank you for being understanding.
You're welcome.
I know I'm not the easiest person.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wish we could do normal couple stuff.
Again, what's normal? We make whatever normal is. This is normal.
Is it?
Sat in a garden. Yeah, it's pretty normal.
Oh, I was referring to the 5 minutes ago, but yeah, I guess this is normal.
You see a naked halfling running through the sort of fighting pits? That's normal.
I'm concerned about what your sense of normal is, but fair.
It's fine, Alicia. It's all fine. Could be better. Could be great. Circumstances we're in. But we work with what we've got. And this is pretty great. So why would I ever turn my nose to it? Or speak down about anything that's happening? Life's pretty good. So why complain?
Yeah, you're right. I hope you know that it's not that I don't want to hold you. I want to. But it just sometimes feels like impossible to do these things.
Nothing's impossible with a bit of time. We never have to do anything quick. You know me, nice and relaxed. Puts his hands behind his head. Leaning back in the sort of bench that's here. You take it nice and easy. No need to rush things. No need to go crazy.
You don't mind waiting then for me?
Elisio, if you could wait for perfection, would you?
That's a very confusing question.
Yes is the answer.
Okay.
Always happy to wait. I always thought about you when we were away, so if we can wait then, and that's at a distance. We're right here, right now. I can wait as well. At least I get to see your pretty face as well. That just helps.
Just turns red again.
It's a lot of red happening. A lot of red around the cheeks.
Well, you're not helping. Just leans his head on his shoulder lightly.
As time goes on, he's just kind of like trying to distract you with things, pointing towards the different flora in here, just asking you questions to what they are. What's this plant? What's that flower? Why is there an insect flying in here? Is that a demon? Like all of these random questions that he's asking. Just back and forth. Silly, trying to distract you, keep you at ease. And yeah, we'll move on to the next person. Unless you want to add something else at the end.
No, go on.
Okay. Arne, is there anything else you'd like to do during this downtime? If it is something more extensive, we can continue this into the next episode if you wish. Doesn't have to be like the big other thing that you wanted to do. Up to you.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically 10 minutes off from our usual closing time, so let's not get into this.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about the items that you wish to create and gather the materials for. You head back to areas like sort of Bellavia, to the contacts that you have there, begin to gather the sort of materials that you need. They've been able to acquire some more exotic things as well for you to sort of test that, to build with if you wanted to. So you have this sort of plethora that is given into your sort of disposal. So during this sort of downtime, you can create a number of items that you wish. Depending on what they are, you can make probably about 10 during this downtime. There may be some that are less time restricted. So you can choose whichever ones you want to build within this time period, and behind the scenes, you and I can just discuss what you want to end up making. But with these new materials you'll have, you'll be able to make some new things if you wanted to as well. So I'll send you a list of materials that you've gained, and then you can work with that if you want to.
More stuff.
Mm-hmm. Do you end up pushing for this creation of the what was it called? The silver thread? Is it not Quicksilver? What was it called again?
Soul Linked Silver.
Soul Linked Silver. Do you end up creating this sort of thicker element to try and interact with this particle?
Oh, that you meant,
Yes.
the other one, Nitro Silver.
That's the one.
Yes, I'm going to spend some time experimenting with it, considering we could very well be coming into conflict with Gil at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be very helpful not to just get one shot at them.
Do you ever try putting any enchantments or things onto it? Do you just create the base material? Or do you end up adding some flavor on there as well?
No, Oren would go on the suggestions that were made in regards to enchantment, also consulting Oberon on whether alchemy can help with getting the enchantments into the metal.
Okay.
Boy, do I have an evilly enchanted sword! You would be interested! Not alchemy, but
Okay, so kind of mixing the two of you together to try and get more understanding of this sort of power that you have. We'll focus on this momentarily. With a mixture of your sort of alchemy, like adding extra layers of protection around the metal, Oberon, and Olrin's sort of ingenuity to create the sort of base layers, and then building on top of those to kind of layer the alchemy within the different aspects of this metal. You begin to create this sort of, what is it you end up making? Please describe it for us, Arne.
Basically, what ends up being made is a thin mesh armor sort of thing that basically is like a shirt you can wear above your other stuff, and that if it were to come in contact with such harmful energies, would redirect them into the ground like a similar principle to a lightning rod.
Okay.
But a bit safer for the wearer.
Do any of you wear it, or are you just kind of trying out with like a dummy or something to see how it operates?
Yeah, it's kind of a prototype for now. Maybe at some point it could be something a bit more practical, like a ring, but still in the experimental phase.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, like we're testing it, but
sure.
Not by just wearing it and poking a finger at dark matter things.
Yeah,
like certain people here.
Who could you be talking about? With the sort of experiments that you have and this specific material that is used, where it transfers energy from one area to the next, you can see that the results are showing similar effects to what you'd seen previously, in regards to dispersing the energy and transferring it to the first touching points of both sides. This does sort of mean at some point that no matter what you put inside of it as well, the entire thing becomes almost like a ferrous cage, meaning that what's inside will also be affected. So you try like putting this sort of mannequin through, and as it touches the end point and whatever's holding in its other hand, it burns from that side and then eventually burns through the rest of the body. But the entire mesh is clear and protected. There still needs to be some other element of protection that goes underneath to protect the wearer itself, because this metal is going to be conducting through that to the person. But you start the sort of processes involved. As you're going through this, can you, both of you, roll Arcana or Nature checks?
I will be doing Arcana.
Okay.
I'll be doing Nature. Also, I'm going to get some guidance for
Me,
myself.
but hey.
Okay.
We both rolled okay.
With the larger sort of mesh netting of an armor that you kind of put together and piecemealed into different parts, you can see that the transfer of energy is much slower, as it's having to travel across a thicker element of this metal, including the sort of alchemy that you draped it into. You can see that the time for degradation, this sort of disintegration from end to beginning, is slowed down to the point where you can pull the armor free and it stops the disintegration at whatever point it was at. So as the body burns from left to right, you stop it in its midsection, and the sort of half that's left just clumpers to the ground. So you've kind of slowed the process. You know, the larger you make this, the slower the sort of degradation will happen. There's something else that you can see that is kind of taking place here. There's the matter that's left behind, this ash, is almost like the discarded remnants of what was there before, but it doesn't quite make up what it was. The particulate that's left behind doesn't resemble any of the materials that you've been using, and that's been disintegrating with it, which leaves you to believe that they're being replaced by something else. Something is taking and potting into wherever it's been disintegrated. Do you try anything that's magical, for example? Since this is all mundane stuff that you're attempting here. You're using alchemy, you're using sort of natural and chemistry. Is there anything magic in the sense of enchantments or items that you have that you're going to be testing with this as well?
Yeah, I would figure that at some point Oren would make a simple blue flame enchantment and test it again against this matter or energy.
Mm-hmm. What do you enchant on? What's the item that you enchant with this?
Basically a metal stick with +1.
Sure.
Nothing fancy.
Okay. You etch it in to the side, this blue flame, and when the test comes to it, you sort of throw the rod, this metal element, in, and it's gone. It leaves no ash behind.
Immediately Oberon like starts summoning a bolt into Heartseeker and is just like holding aim, like waiting. Like would like blood curse as well, so it's got like weird sentiment energy on it. It's just like holding and waiting, just like looking at Olerin like, is this the next thing? Do we try this?
You see, it didn't degrade. It went through. If the two of you could roll perception checks.
Yeah, I'd like to specifically check whether it expanded in some capacity.
Nope, still can't see. Don't know. No clue.
18. You have the sort of layer of lenses that have been placed in front from what's his name again? Not Cornelius. It's not. I keep thinking Cornelius for some reason.
Claudius?
Claudius, thank you. With the lenses that have been placed from his sort of pop-up lab that he's got, you can see, Ulrin, that the rod goes through, and for a moment you can almost see it like swimming on the other edge, on the side of this metal, like the tiniest, almost like a needle in a haystack, just flickering through, and just continues to swim off into this dark void.
Rather than obliterated, it just kind of portaled away.
Do you want me to try shooting it?
It seems to just grow more distant further and further, without being disintegrated, of course. Now, I don't know if this has an end, and if so, if there's something to be alerted. So we should hold off on trying our luck.
Puts the crossbow down. Alright. If you need any more help with alchemy stuff, you know where I'll be.
Ulrin, can you roll a
I'll
religion
get back to
check?
that. Yep.
Your theory is having some ground to it. The fact that it's pulled it into another space altogether, that it has sort of body and form on the other side, gives you credence that this is conjuration of some kind, that this is sort of taking and placing it elsewhere. That same goes with the sort of materials that were decomposing. Something had to be taken and placed back in its space. It seems that there's this transfer of energy that is constant, but when that blue flame enchantment went through, something that you know is everlasting just passed through without a problem, which has you almost leaning towards this is all-consuming to things that decay, to things that can wither and falter. Now, if you were to put magical items in that aren't enchanted with the blue flame, they persist, but enchantments can degrade over time. The blue flame stops that from happening altogether. Perhaps this is the only thing that can actually traverse through to this other place, whatever this is.
Thing is, we actively placed it in there, but if the energy is placed on the object, does it suck it in, or does it need to be self-propelled into the portal?
It seems to have a draw, like its own weight in there. Everything that you've kind of placed within has had a sort of pulling effect, if you will.
Okay, so we can't use that, or we'll be portaled the fuck away. Got it. That would be very unfortunate.
Whilst all of this is going on, there is a heavy knock at the door. As each of you, wherever you are in the household, look out of your windows, out of the doorway, you see this brilliant large version of Janet that's just awe-inspiring, huge in stature.
I imagine Oberon's like going to leave to like use a tree to teleport back to the Fey realm. Just like opens the door and just like, what the fuck?
You see the two Leonins are there. You see Janet is between the two of them. They both have a very
A
stern
lot bigger.
look.
She's a lot bigger than she was, where's Cal? And she starts looking around like, what the fuck has happened?
I need a drink.
Yeah,
Alejandro walks in.
so...
See in the Shadowfell again. What is that giant dragon?
Oberon just shouts into the house.
No.
All right.
Don't panic! Don't panic! the dragon sits like back like a dog on his hind legs and is just gesturing slightly with his head. Do not panic! I'm sure this is going to sort itself out.
Does this feel like Cal?
It's talking like Cal.
You can roll a.
Is it talking like
well,
Cal?
since you have
I don't
sentiment.
speak Draconic.
Well, since you have sentiment, your sort of analysis of it, same fucking wavelength as what you're used to with Cal. It's the same. Nothing's changed. There's like a barometer, it changes. This is just the same.
Yeah. Cal just, flies up to.
Am I only talking in Draconic, Max?
No, you're talking in common. You speak all the same languages you did before.
I'm talking normal.
Oberon just flies up to eye height with Cal and just like grabs him on either side of his face and goes, Cal's gonna kill you. How did you manage this?
Well, so, okay, and just tells the entire story. It starts with like entering the ruined city and just continues on. No, wait, he has to start further because he has to explain why the siblings fought, so he's gonna start there.
About halfway through the story, Oberon just starts doing this, like, Ulrin's gonna kill you first.
I need you to know that... Isn't Ulrin standing there?
Ulrin's there.
Aren't I home currently?
Everyone's there. Everyone's just like looking out of the doorway.
I want to say that I'm surprised by this, but like, this is probably the second weirdest thing that's happened in this mansion.
Make some room. This needs emphasis. And I'm going to use the ability of the Helm of Core to grow to huge size so I can match Cal's size.
Unfortunately.
His draconic shoulders and shake him violently. What did you do?
And that's where we're going to end the session and pick it up next time, since that feels fairly apt. Thank you very much for watching this strange episode. A lot of light commentary, a lot of interesting intrigue, character development. Whatever Cal did. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. We'll be live again. It's going to be a while until we're live because we're busy on Fridays and Sundays. So I think the next episode will be another Tuesday campaign, in fact. Perhaps.
Yes.
So I think you'll catch us then next week, Tuesday, where we will continue the tail end of this downtime and then leading into the sort of next demon that the party will be facing. So we'll learn more then. But thank you very much all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Follow us on Twitch, YouTube, all those things if you want to know when we are live. And if you want to watch all of the VODs nice and easy in one place, YouTube, rollxplay. We have a playlist there for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 of the entire story, so you could get caught up there. But that's us here today. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye-bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.